here. Go. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working some more on the Civic Coupe in hopes of buttoning it up before we return the car back to the owner. Now, if you guys haven't seen the last video, be sure to go back and check it out. 2 days ago, we took the car to the dyno to get tuned by the homie Geif out of Red Zone, Antioch, and the car made 240 horsepower with 206 foot-pounds of torque on 7 pounds. The car drives freaking amazing, and now we're going to be diving into the big brake upgrade that we're going to be doing on the car, or at least just the front spindles. This is a budget way of doing things without spending a ton of money for big brand name companies, and we're going to take you along on the parts you're going to need and what you need to do to get a budget big brake setup on your Honda. Before I dive into the car, I want to show you guys what we are working with, or at least what we have as of right now. So these are the spindles. Get these on a table for you guys. If you guys haven't done your homework or you're unfamiliar with the budget big brake upgrade, I'll be sure to find the link and put it in the description below for you guys. I'm hoping to make this video to simplify the article for you guys, but right here on the table we have some spindles with some new hubs, bearings, and also ball joints already pre-installed before it was brought to me. Now, if you're driving a Honda Civic, right? Honda Civic, and the model is not an EX model, you have the smaller spindle setup, which typically comes with a 9-inch rotor, smaller caliper, smaller brake pads. Now, if you want to do the big brake upgrade to your Civic spindle, you can buy the bracketry to attach to your spindle to run the bigger caliper and bigger rotors. Now, if you don't want to run the bracketry, because they do get pretty expensive, Scarebird is one of those companies that has brackets for front and rear to go big brake or disc in the rear. To save buying the brackets, you can source yourself some EX spindles. Now, if you're in Integra, the spindles are sort of somewhat the same already. They already come with the 10.2 or 10.3 inch rotor like the EX, and this is probably the better way to do it because you don't have to worry about bracketry system unless you're running like calipers from an RL or a Porsche or something that's larger that doesn't fit the bolt pattern of a Honda spindle, right? So this right here is the 99 2000 Honda Civic SI spindle, technically the same as any of the 96 to 2000 Civic EX spindles, but this one specifically the SI that he brought to me, and this one has the ears where it will bolt up to a big caliper setup. And when I say big, I'm talking about like maybe factory big. So in the case of the big caliper Honda spec calipers, we're talking about the like Acura Legend, we're talking about the Honda Odyssey, the Honda Accords, the Preludes, most commonly the Honda CRV, and in this case we're going to be using the Honda CRV calipers. That's right here in the box, already cleaned up, kind of rebuilt, sprayed. This is what we're going to be using for the setup. These are Honda CRV calipers. You can get these from the junkyard all day long. And if you guys don't know, I'm going to take you guys on a little stroll. My Civic wagon is on, I believe, DA spindles. It has, these are Acura Legend calipers with 11-inch Stop Tech rotors. And then obviously on my blue all-wheel drive sedan, it has the Honda CRV 5-lug conversion spindles in the front with the CRV 11-inch rotors, CRV calipers, and we're going to be using that same setup on this spindle here today. So on the write-up it says if you're doing the big brake upgrade to your Honda spindle, right, you use the TSX brake pads. So the owner had brought me some brake pads right here already, and we're gonna find out today how well these fit, because when I did the budget big brake back in the days, I took the actual like CRV pads, and I shaved them down before I knew about the write-up, before I knew about the TSX pads. So we're gonna find out today if these TSX pads are like drop into the budget big break. So TSX brake pads, Honda CRV calipers, EX or SI spindle, or if you're an Integra spindles. And obviously here we're missing the rotors. The rotors, we're going to be using the Mini Cooper, I think like year 2006 or 7 or something like that. 4-lug, base model, 280 millimeter disc. Sorry, I had to think about all of that in my head because I don't have the write-up on my computer. So I have these guys right here. If you guys remember, we had these spun and I was gonna use them, and then I went 5-lug in my car, so ended up not using it on my blue sedan. Buddy, what are you doing? But anyways, these are the 11-inch rotors. They're 4x100, and this is what I was gonna use on here. But then I realized that these rotors were actually for the DX spindle. And if you guys don't know, the DX spindle, LX spindles, have the hubs smaller than the EX SI. And what I mean by that is this width is much larger on the EX SI Integra than it is on a regular DX Civic. So because these rotors are for the DX spindle slash hub, it actually does not fit over this guy here. So if you look, it doesn't seat because it's too wide, right? And I want to show you guys really quickly a quick comparison. One of you guys sent this to the PO box, and this is something I'm going to use for another car that I'm doing. So I'm not going to sell this one because it was gifted by you guys to me. I'm not going to sell this one to the owner here. We're actually going to go get some new rotors here in a minute. So this right here is Mini Cooper rotors, base model. And if you guys look, much larger in the back, 11-inch, fits right over the hub and goes right into the lugs. I don't know if that rhymed, but kind of sounded like it did. So if you look, flushed. See the studs are out, flush. So this is the 11-inch rotor. I did bolt up the calipers yesterday, and it clears, goes on something like that, and then the caliper itself. So hopefully that's not too confusing for you guys. Quick little recap before we dive into the car itself. EXSI spindles, or if you're an Integra spindles. You can also use Integra on a Civic, just so you guys know. We're going to be using the CRV calipers and bracketry. And in the case of, you know, if you don't have a CRV, you can get the Preludes, the Honda Accords, the Legends. Do a little research, read the link in the description below to figure out the year. But we're going to be using CRV calipers, and we're going to be using Mini Cooper rotors right here. And if you guys want to use this one specifically, that is the part number right there for Ray-Bestos. Okay, so before I actually dive into the car, guys, I'm gonna go to the parts store and grab some fresh blank rotors, and then we're gonna get this thing up on jack stands and start doing the swap-a-roo. Before I take off, guys, I want to actually test everything first, so I know that we have everything here, and all I need is the rotors. If I need more or the brake pads don't work while I'm over there, I can just grab some, you know, the stuff that we need. So rotor goes on, right? 280 millimeter Mini Cooper 4x100. Bracket right here is going to go on first before the actual caliper. I'm not sure if these are the same, which it looks like it is the same. So these are the same. These are 23T, right? These are held by 17 mils on the back side. I'm just realizing right now the bag full of hardware and also the brake pad itself doesn't come with any of the little retainers for the brake pads to sit on the bracket. Okay, we got to figure out something about that. I'm gonna grab the front pads. The front pad doesn't have the little retaining thing right here. Okay, that looks like it's going to work. Let me give you guys a closer look. The retaining clip is supposed to go in between that right there. And then if you look right here on the hat, it clears. There's a good like 1/4 of an inch between the hat and the brake pad, and then the pad on the back side lines up with the outer of the rotor, right? So these pads are going to work, but again, we don't have the retaining clips that's supposed to go right here. All right, got my rotors, some retaining clips. Hopefully they fit, but they didn't have it for a CRV, but that is for the Honda Odyssey. To be honest with you guys, I lost track of time. I got home and then I was on 2 different phone calls, about an hour plus each, and I'm still gonna work on the Civic big brake upgrade. So I'm gonna set you guys up on a table right here. I might just assemble it tonight and then tomorrow we'll install it, because you guys know how much I hate to film in the night, but I still do it like an idiot. I guess I'm just gonna do one, and then the other one is practically the same. Let me try to get you guys a little bit more lighting. So I went to O'Reilly's, and this is the part number for the base model Mini Cooper 11-inch rotor, 280 millimeters. There are 3 different sizes, so make sure you get the 280 millimeter 4x100. They'll show you the screen so you can see the specifications, so that way you guys don't go buying the wrong one. Here's the rotor. Now, I will say that these holes are a little bit bigger than the factory studs, and they do sell a little like alignment spacer that goes in between this to center the rotor to your lug here. I don't have that, and we're just gonna run it just like this. This hole right here on the rotor does not line up with the thread hole that's on the hub, so this is gonna sit loosely in here, and that is the reason why it's important to have those lug spacers. As far as I've shown you guys earlier, these brackets are identical, so it doesn't matter which one you use for the left or the right side. The factory 17 millimeter bolts for the bracket to the spindle. Rotor again has to go on first. Every bolt on a car has a torque specification, so if you want to torque it, look it up online, because I don't know what it is. We're just going to go ahead and snug tug it. Okay, nice and snug tugged. They told me that this brake pad right here doesn't come with the hardware, the retaining clips for the brake pads. So I bought these right here for the Odyssey, which is so the same, because the CRV, they don't have it in stock. So let's see if these fit, because if they do, that means we can put the brake pads on. Okay, these do not work. They are totally different. So this sucks. Looks like we're not going to be able to use these guys right here. Tomorrow I'm going to go to the storage unit, because I do have some CRV calipers, and I'm going to check to see if the retaining clips are on it. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and put the top side of the caliper on. These are specific to left and right hand side. It says it right there on the top, R and L. This one is driver's side, so it's L. We'll go ahead and flip this around. So this pretty much goes on like that. Okay, it's gonna look something like that with some brake pads. So I'm gonna go ahead and just assemble the other one, and then tomorrow we'll pick up with you guys once we have everything to install these onto the car. Yesterday I went to O'Reilly's to find the brake pad hardware, and they didn't have it in stock. So I bought some Odyssey ones, which are different because the bottom of the brake pad is tinier than the TSX/CRV. So today I went to AutoZone, and I would have to drive further to a different store to get them because they had one in stock in the network. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go check the storage unit. And sure enough, my CRV calipers that I have there has all the hardware, and I gave it a nice little scrub. You can kind of see it's silverish, and this is gonna work perfectly. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just install the brake pads before swapping this into the car, just to have it all done and ready to go. Take off one of the 14mm bolt. Simply flip this over. One goes on the bottom, one goes on the top. Now I don't have anti-seize like specifically for the brake pads. I'm just gonna use this copper anti-seize, and I'm just gonna apply a little bit of it where the brake pads sit. The brake pads without the metal bracket right here goes on the front. And then the one that does have the metal bracket goes on the back side, and it has to face the top. So this one, this is the opposite side. This one right here faces the top. We're gonna have to push the piston into the caliper because these are brand new brake pads, and we need this to be flush so we can close the caliper onto the bracket to bolt it back up. Take a piece of flat stock or an old brake pad, put it on top of the piston, and then you pretty much just crank it until it becomes flat. We got brake fluids coming out for sure, quite a bit too. Alrighty, piston's completely flat. Now we can put the caliper all the way down, and now we can bolt it up. One spindle with a big brake upgrade, ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the other side, and then we're gonna start taking off the factory ones off the Civic. Guys, I've already done the passenger side. I just wanted to make sure that you know, nothing is unusual. The only thing though that is unusual is the freaking axle nut that's installed on the car. I didn't have the correct socket to take it apart, and I stripped the hell out of it, and I was almost certain that I wasn't gonna do the spindles today. This thing got stripped out. I've never seen a freaking axle nut like this before. It has the I don't know, 12 points on it, and I didn't have a socket to fit. It's actually smaller than a 32, and yeah, I was getting a little worried. So I got it off. I hammered on another socket, and I was able to drive it out with my giant breaker bar right here. And well, technically not a breaker bar, it's a 1/2-inch ratchet, but I got it off, and I'm gonna switch it over to the typical 32mm on the passenger side, and also when I take that one off. I did notice that this spindle has a hub-centric ring for the wheel. It's like super snugged on here, so I'm gonna have to find a way to take this off, and if it fits over here, I'm gonna switch it over. But I just want to show you guys a quick little comparison between the stock Civic 9-inch rotor brake setup versus the Mini Cooper 11 CRV caliper combo. Look at that. Is that not freaking super duper noticeable. I know that the brake on this car was stopping, but it does brake fade. Like when you step on it, it applies, but it fades. So I'm hoping with this guy here, it's gonna give you a lot more braking power. These are just some regular pads from O'Reilly's, and I told him that if you really want some good braking power without changing, like, you know, all of this setup here, get some Hawk pads. But for right now, this is going to be a significant difference opposed to the stock one off the rip. So I'm going to set you guys up to take this one off right here. Sorry about that. Lower ball joint cotter pin is on. Cotter pin for the tie rod, done. Cotter pin for the upper control arm, done. All right guys, the car is back on the ground. The brakes feel really good after I bled them, and we won't really know the pressure until we drive it. Now mind you guys, these are brand new brake pads, so it's going to break in a little bit before it catches pretty hard, but I'll know the difference between this and that when I take it for a spin in just a second. But check it out, Mini Cooper 11-inch rotors with CRV calipers, TSX pads on the EM1 spindle. This thing looks freaking awesome. Budget big brake upgrade right here, guys, and it works amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and let this thing warm up just a little bit, and then we'll go drive it. I can hear the dust shield on the left side, so I gotta clear that out. That stopped pretty hard. Yeah, it doesn't brake fade like the original spindle caliper. Yeah, it grabs much harder, but it feels like the pads still need to be broken in for sure. It catches just under halfway point, just under halfway point. For not being power steering, this thing is easy to turn. Yeah, it stops pretty quick. I would like it to grab maybe just a little bit higher, but you got to put some miles on the pads first. It's the same thing like a clutch. After you put some miles on it, it'll grab sooner. Oh yeah. Yeah, the brakes working for sure. I want you guys to take a good look at this car. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this thing had some yellow headlights, and we polished it out. 800, 1200, 1500, 2000 polish, and these are looking a lot more crispier. I did also wash the car as well as the engine bay, because this car has been sitting here on the driveway for quite some times, and I feel like it just deserves a quick wash. And I appreciate the owner for, you know, being super patient with me and, you know, letting me take my time building this car. Granted, you know, in between the weeks I've gone to the hospital, I built the car, then I took off for H-Day waiting for parts to show up. Then we finally got it tuned a couple of days ago. This thing is ready to go home. So I've already texted him to let him know that it is ready for pickup, but I'm gonna be sad. This thing drives freaking awesome. Obviously I drove it to the dyno, I drove it back, and then I drove it yesterday to the parts store. This thing is a great commuter, but he does have the Silver Civic for the commuter. This is the fun car. I already loaded everything that belongs to the car in the trunk, and this might be the last build video to the car. I'm probably going to show you guys the reaction when he comes and pick it up as well too, but it's ready to go home. It's ready to go home. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the rest of my stuff, and let's cap out this video. All right guys, we're gonna wrap up the video right here, but before we do, I want to do a quick little recap in case you guys didn't watch the entire video, or if you didn't click the link in the description below because you don't want to read. So to do the budget big brake upgrade, right, this is typically for the golden era Honda, the EF, the EGs, the EKs, the DCs, the DAs. If you have an Integra already, you can use the Integra spindle. If you have a Civic, you want to use the EX model spindle, which the EF sedan comes EX, the EG coupe and four-door comes EX, the EK comes EX, and you can also use the SI spindle, the EM1. Now, if you can't find EX spindles around your area, you can use Integra on your Civic. Now, to do the big brake upgrade, you use the listed calipers that I mentioned earlier in this video, your choice on which one you want to rock or which one you have availability to. In our case, we use the Honda CRV RD1, which I believe is 96 to 01 CRV calipers, and they work freaking great. They are practically the same as a Type R, in case you guys didn't know. With the CRV calipers, we are using the TSX brake pads, and I'm sure the TSX is like a, I don't know if it starts in 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, correct me, but TSX brake pads and the base model Mini Cooper rotors. The year that I inputted at the parts store was 2007. Mini Cooper base model 4-lug, 280 millimeters. All right, don't forget that part, because there's like a 294 or something like that. You want the 280 millimeter rotor for the big brake conversion. Now the stainless steel brake lines, I told the owner, you know, I prefer you to change them out, but you can change them out as you go, or you can use a stock one. It's not a big deal. But if you really want to feel the brake work like it's supposed to, get the stainless steel brake line, because the rubber lines do expand over time, and then your brakes are going to feel a little squishy, and then you're going to feel like, oh, this big brake upgrade is not worth it. Trust me, it is worth it. I hope you guys find this video helpful in this sense, because I've done a couple of big brakes before, but I didn't really make a video thorough about it. So hopefully this video helps you do yours if you want to save some money. And if you guys enjoyed this video, man, be sure to leave a thumbs up. We are going to get back to regular programming here on the driveway. I want to get back on the 88 server stand. I want to start doing the rear diff. I want to start installing that into the car. I actually need to go to the junkyard because I need another axle. But yeah, anyways, I want to get back to the EF sedan. So if you guys want to stick around for regular programming here on the driveway, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.